Shalom. Give it all praise to our Heavenly Father. His name is Yahweh by Yeshem. Yahweh Shai by Yeshem, God Gradash, and double honors to the apostles and elders that were well, and many salutations to brothers that's toiling in this truth. Now I seen this vid a few days ago. I actually wanted to go live on it because I seen other atrocities that these small hatters are doing. And it's seemingly they're getting away with it. But we know, the Lord, Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shah sees all things. And you see the wickedness that, these guys are doing, that Esau Edom is doing, the head tribe, the Amalekites are doing. We call them small hatters, guys that's professing. The people over there that's confessing to be Israelites that are not. We see them doing all types of wickedness, as of lately, and condoning wickedness as on a daily. Yet you don't see an uproar um, of these atrocities that's going on from the so-called Christians. In fact, you have a guy like Vocab Malone. He has dedicated his whole life to defaming this ministry of ours. Yet when you ask him about um, the wickedness that Esau Edom is doing in the land, or the small hatters are doing in the land, he says, they have the right to defend themselves. And he kind of brushes it off, the wickedness of these people off. And that shows you who's ruling the world, okay? Those that have the green light to commit atrocities. Those are the people who are ruling the world. Not only does the small hatters commit violent acts um, in a land, but they're doing it here in Babylon the Great, you know, uh, with the positions that they have. And I'm gonna play this clip for you. This is a police officer in Las Vegas that was getting people locked up, unlawfully, on the false pretenses, and they were the real Israelites. It was Judah, and also, this guy was a PDF file, and he only gets 3-4 years for the wickedness that he's done. And I'm telling how much wickedness this man, is a part of, and but they have a network to do wickedness. Remember, what about 2 years ago when the war uh, in Gaza began to happen, how you know they were exposed for having secret tunnels underneath New York City, and it was just washed over. Nobody talks about it anymore. Okay, in fact, the land of Israel is a safe haven uh, for PDF files. I did a sit down on this many years ago, and other brothers have too. You can look it up for yourself. So these small heads that commit these heinous crimes towards kids, and you know who they're doing it towards. They're doing it towards the black and brown community, the so-called Negro and Latinos and Native Americans, the true Israelites, and they're able to uh, go back to the land. I believe it's under the return law, and get immunity. They don't get arrested, bro. Okay, but again, the Most High sees all these things, man, and He's going to judge. Okay, although this guy is able to do all types of atrocities, whether it be bombing people indiscriminately, starving them out, you know, uh, you know, uh, molesting children. You know what I'm saying? You got to keep it a buck. Um, You know, and all types, and that's on the superficial level. You know, we're not even going to the corporations and what they all the atrocities that they do. Although he's done all these things, Esau even has done all these things. The Most High sees and he's going to judge. Let me get a quick precept for you. Now, this is Numbers 24, and I start at 18, but I'm gonna read down. The point is in 20. And Edom shall be a possession. Seir also shall be a possession for his enemies, and Israel shall do violently. Out of Jacob shall come he that shall have dominion, and shall destroy him that remaineth of the city. And this is talking about, upon Yahushua's return, man. When Yahushua returns, Esau, Edom, right? This the bulk of so-called white people, right? The European race, they will be put under subjection, right? And the destruction will be sore, starting with the head tribe, the Amalekites, which are the small hatters. Okay, verse 20. And when he looked on Amalek, he took up his parable and said, Amalek was the first of the nations, but his latter end shall be that he perish forever. So although this man has been positioned as a great nation, has accumulated a substantial amount of wealth, right? In a lot of ways, is the head tribe that pushes the Edomite culture, right? Via what, the music industry, the movie industry, right? He's able to push a certain narrative that perpetuates him as the hero and the victim, and he's able to do all this wickedness there, although he has this power, and that's power to control media, to control mindsets, to basically have a cultural hegemon. That's power. That shows you that you're in power. Whatever culture you dictate, or your culture is dictated as right, but your perspective, that's deemed as right. And with that power, the Amalekites, man, have painted themselves as if they are just a damsel in distress. Nobody wants to get along with them, and they're just fighting for their rights to survive. Meanwhile, this man is doing all types of atrocities, bro. All types of wickedness throughout the earth. And people are waking up to it, right? People are starting to wake up to these atrocities, and that's where, that's where it begins. Okay? Esau is getting called out for his wickedness, man. These nations are taking up a parable against, Esau, Edom. Okay? Because this man is just into some deep, dark shit. And I'm going to show you precisely what I mean. This is an example. Okay?
Things that clearly are, to be kind, inappropriate, and illegal.
Once a leader at the Las Vegas Metro Police Department, today, though, a disgraced sergeant taken away in handcuffs.
A former Sergeant Kenan Menon learning his fate after a contentious court battle involving child sex abuse material, unlawful arrest, and more. We thank you for joining us here at 6 o'clock. I'm David Charms.
I'm Denise Valdez. The 8 News Now investigators first to report from Menon's sentencing today. And Vanessa Murphy was there and has much more on the pretty unusual moments that unfolded. Kevin Menon, once a decorated Metro Police sergeant, now heading to prison for 4 to 10 years for illegal arrests on the Las Vegas Strip and child sex crimes. His criminal cases have had many twists and turns. Menon claiming his fellow officers set him up. Menon saying he's accepting responsibility through a plea deal, but not admitting to committing the crimes in court. And 2 women identified as victims insisting they are not victims.
I take responsibility for these allegations. For any harm I've done, I beg for forgiveness.
Disgraced Las Vegas Metro Police Sergeant Kevin Menon breaks his silence moments before being taken away in handcuffs Monday. His wife and sister-in-law in tears.
This experience has been a deeply personal living nightmare. I am not a victim of my husband. I am a victim of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department.
In his most recent case, Metro Police say Menon installed cameras in his private bathroom to watch both women use the restroom. That's after his electronic devices like his laptops were taken away. For his second case, police say they found numerous images of child sexual abuse material. And it all started with the first case, where he's accused of leading a team of officers on the Las Vegas Strip, creating fake scenarios to target mainly black men and arrest them.
So this dude installing video cameras in restrooms so you can see his wife and her sister use a restroom. Then he's into CP. Then this guy, is into, getting Jake unlawfully locked up. Okay, this dude was into all types of wickedness, but he gets a slap on the wrist. He's gonna get 4 to 10 years, based off of all the things that this man has done. Okay, he'll probably do 4. Okay, somehow, some way he's the victim. Somehow, some way he's been lied on. He's been wrong, and this is how this guy rules the earth, man. He creates these various scenarios in which he seems to be the victim, so he could come out, as the victor. He could come out as the person who, has created, or the person who's triumphed over evil, and and the whole time, this guy is the one that's the wicked. Okay, and this is Esau Edom. This is how he rules the world, man. This is how he gets down. And the Most High is going to take him out the way very soon. Okay. Psalms 10:2, the wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined. Right. So all the devices that Esau Edom is coming up with, he's going to be taken with the devices that he has made. Okay. This guy was trying to get Jake locked up, and he eventually got himself locked up. Well, that's going to be on a bigger level, very soon. What this guy is doing and his mindset, is on a microscopic level. It's on a very small level, and it exemplifies the mindset of Esau Edom. They believe that they're untouchable, but the Most High is going to bring that pride down, man. Right? The war that the small haters are forming on a world scale is not going to work for them. And why it's not going to work? Are we advocating that Russia's going to win? No, we're advocating that Yahweh Shah is going to return. And it's going to take Esau Edom out of the way. Okay. Verse 3, for the wicked boasts of his heart's desire, and blessed the covetous, whom Yahweh abhorreth. The wicked, through the pride of his countenance, will not seek after the Most High. The Most High is not in all his thoughts. And that's, and that's the small headers, man. They act like they've just been sent by God, and it's just God this, and he wants us in the land. And they don't do anything that the Most High, they don't promote anything that the Most High promotes in the scriptures, man. They find loopholes and things of that nature to break the laws of the Heavenly Father. That's what the Talmud consists of. The Talmud is simply a commentary on the implementation of the law, okay, in the oral laws, the oral traditions, which ironically came from us. The Talmud came from really Wicked Jake, and of course it was expounded on, by Esau Edom, nasty self. But initially they came from Jake, right? So they took these oral traditions and things of that nature, which were to add on to the law, and they used these oral traditions as a way to rationalize breaking the law, man. And the mess that we see before us, is basically them taking hold to the Bible, to the Torah, and finding loopholes on how to not keep the laws, right? Or use the laws to their advantage. And that's pride. That's pride, man. And the Most High is going to take them out of the way for that. Okay? Verse 5, his ways are always grievous. Thy judgment are far above out of his sight. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. When you look at that word puffeth in the scriptures, I forget the Hebrew word, but it means basically snares at them. He looks at them in disgust, in a sense. Like, say for instance, you see somebody talking crazy to you, and you think, and you perceive them as, for layman terms, a little in, like, or just smaller beneath you. When he's talking, you kind of just, man, what, man, get out of here. That's what that scripture is saying. He puffers at them, laughs at them, right? And that's what he was doing to Judah. Judah was getting unlawfully locked up by this guy. Okay. And for that, he was locked up, and on a bigger scale, Esau Edom was gonna get locked up. Esau Edom was gonna be brought down. Esau Edom gonna be put in chains for that, man. For his wickedness. Okay. Verse 6, he hath said in his heart, I will not be moved, for I will never be in adversity. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. He sitteth in lurking places of the villages. In these secret places doth he persecute the innocent. His eyes are privily set against the poor. And that's precisely what you see going on in that particular video. Right? He was sitting in lurking places, this guy, the small hatter, and basically creating false narratives to get Jake locked up. Right? Then this nigga will go home, the real nigga will go home, kiss his wife, and then wait till she go to sleep and put on a video of her sister taking a dump. Right? Get aroused and then turn on some CP. These motherfuckers is sick, man. Right? And this is the people that's ruling over us, man. Okay? So that perpetual hate that he has towards us, is going to be to his demise. The true Israelites, right? The hatred that Esau even has towards us, right, will be to their destruction, man. Okay? Sirach 35:1. Moreover, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it, and say unto it, Thus said Yahweh power, behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate. I mean, when somebody's desolate, that means they don't have any resources, right? That which embodies a lot. Resources is land, cattle, food, um, provisions, capital, nothing. The situation that we're in, basically, we're in a desolate situation, right? The so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, you don't have anything. Well, it's going to be versed. It's going to be reversed on Esau, Edom, right? And it's going to be double than what we have received. And the ultimate way it's going to be double is total annihilation. Esau, Edom is going to be taken out of the way by Yahweh by Shah. All right, after 1,000 years of serving captivity, man, this guy is going to be burnt up, alluding to Obadiah. Okay, I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am Yahweh, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword, in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Right? So Esau Edom has had a perpetual hatred towards us. Right? Right? And because of that, guess what? They're going to be judged for this. Okay? The Most High is not going to allow Esau Edom to get away with all these atrocities that he's committed on the earth, man. Right? Though it tarry, wait for it. You get tired of just waking up and seeing this shit, man. Every day, all day, Esau Edom just doing all types of wickedness and just getting away with it. Look at the mindset of the people, man. Right? Look how lewd Babylon the Great is, and other places too that are so-called westernized, including Israel. Look how lewd these places are, man. Look how hypocritical these places are. Look how backward these places are, and it's a trip. It's a trip, you know. It's a trip to see it, man. It's a trip to wake up and get used to wickedness. The way we've been used to, we've gotten used to it, and it shows you that this guy Esau Edom, he has to be taken out of the way for the world to flourish, Okay, but I digress. Now this is Proverbs 6:16. These 6 things doth Yahweh hate. Yea, 7 are an abomination unto him: a proud look, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood. And that was him. He had a proudful, stout look, like I can't possibly be in trouble, right? A lying tongue, dude was lying through his teeth. Dude on camera doing all types of wickedness, saying, "Oh, I just got set up." No, it was you. You was a sergeant. You were over this, man. You orchestrated those false things, man. Hands that shed innocent blood. His people out there, in the land, the Amalekites, shedding the innocent bloods of Gaza, of the people of Gaza, which we don't have a affinity towards those people in Palestine, because if they came over here, they'd be looking at us as if we're niggas and spicks and Uncle Tomahawks too. They were looking down on us, and they were trying to find ways to, exploit us too. So we don't give a fuck about them either, man. But right is right. You're doing wickedness over there. Okay, and heart that devises wicked imaginations, feet that be swift and running to mischief, right? Finding, you got the smart hat of just finding reasons to bomb other people, to destroy their lives, man. Okay? Right? This guy, um, man, I forget his name, but the smart head I used to see, quick to run to do mischief, getting Jake locked up, right? And uh, a record as a so-called black man, that's worse than that's worse than a death sentence, because you're basically um, you know, barred from certain jobs that you're qualified for, right? So basically, you're subject to be in a lower class and have lower class jobs, man. You know, and this is exactly what he was doing. He wanted to ensure that Jake was getting locked up so they could be in a dilapidated situation, man. It's wicked, wicked ass nigga, man, wicked ass devil. Okay, verse 19: a false witness that speaketh lies, and he that soweth discourse among brethren, right? A false witness, and this guy was a false witness, was getting Jake locked up. Was getting Jake locked up for no reason at all. Okay. So Esau Edom, man, you got a lot to play for, man. And that small hatter was just a representation of the type of people, that's in that land, in the Holy Land right now, man. It's a bunch of deceivers, liars, scumbags, and the Most High sees you, and He's going to judge you through the spirit of Yahweh by Shem Yahushua. Shalom.